much for having me here today. I'm going to do a presentation on digital vision, go through the thematic area of the use of ICTs in the program. Just first of all to go through what ict4d, which is the acronym for ICT for development, is essentially the use of information and communication technologies in program. So for development of humanitarian or campaign work. As you see on the screen, some examples of this is the use of SMS and text messaging, radio, social media, data collection, mapping, and mobile money, so the distribution of cash aid through mobile. And then we also look at how we can enable staff to use ICTs to become more efficient in the actual doing the program. So this would be improving data collection processes or distribution systems. And one thing that we exclude in this definition is the use of digital communications for public-facing work. So the use of social media for financing or for donations. And we have several aims. So one is looking at using digital as an enabler. So it's not a means to itself. It needs to be embedded within the program, which is the second aim, and into existing processes. You don't start with the technology first and then look at your program second. You look at the program first. One thing the team is doing currently, which we're hoping to launch next month, is have a big map where people can log in. They can click on the pins across the globe, and this would come up with information on what Oxfam GB, as well as Oxfam affiliates, are doing using ICTs. And you can filter and search through this, so that if you wanted to look at what was going on in a specific country or region, you could take a look and hopefully be inspired by some of the projects that are going on. Or if you've heard of a specific tool, or you want to use ICTs in a thematic area, you'd actually be able to filter down and look at what other people are doing and have contact names in order to follow up to learn more. So just to go through one of the myths of implementing ICTs into program is how much time and resource it can take. So the small circle is the actual ICT part, the training that you need, the technical expertise that you might need to hire or train people for. Setting up a server, running installation, playing around with it and testing, and seeing what you can do. The larger circle is everything else you need to do in order to make your program or project successful. One thing, has anybody heard of the Pink Phone project? Probably one of the most well-known in Oxfam. So this is a project in Cambodia, but it has been rolled out to other areas. And it essentially involved distributing and training female leaders and small producers in how to use the phone, and partners or Oxfam staff sending text messages with market information, market prices, weather warnings, so that the women in the community could actually filter down this information to the rest. It's had its pros and cons. It's been a good pilot for us, and actually the Ministry of Women's Affairs in Cambodia is scaling this nationwide now. And that's been done through Nokia funding that was part of a relationship that Oxfam GB has with Nokia. It was set up before that relationship, but it uses low-end Nokia handsets, which actually, in the area, UNICEF had been there previously, and I think they'd been distributing bicycles to the women, and the women requested that they were pink, and the reason being is the men wouldn't want to use them. So when we actually went and talked to them about the mobiles, they asked if these could also be pink, because it would stop men from wanting to use them. So a very small, easy change for us. It had a big impact for them. And one knock-on effect that's happened with the project is actually that women are using these phones for so much more once they understand and know how to use them. So they're being able to report emergencies and cases of violence and abuse where necessary. So I'm just going to give an example of how it can work. So has anybody heard of MLink? It's a relatively new system that actually Oxfam created in Somalia. And this is just a really great example of how the information flow can work really well. So the first thing that happens is, obviously beneficiaries sign up to this system first, and then they will receive a unique code from an Oxfam or partner. So the second thing is mobile data collection, which is my passion currently. And there is so much going on, I could talk about it all day. So I've just picked out 3 good and relevant examples. And I'll also go through how it can work and the key benefits of that. So one thing that happened in November last year was Laura Eldon, who works on my team, went to Jordan and did a refugee perception and vulnerability survey in Zatari camp. And this was with 300 households and was conducted in Arabic. So it was a very interesting case for us because there were obviously quite a lot of sensitivities that needed to be adhered to. So this was making sure we had informed consent. The actual survey was conducted with no SIM card in. So a trick that we've learned is having the phone on flight mode, which basically means it can't connect to anything, which really saves battery life. It's amazing battery life. It lasts probably 2-3 times longer. And you don't need the SIM card to actually carry out the survey. And obviously no sensitive information was collected, so no GPS, no photos. And actually in Zatari, Reach had done a similar, well, not a similar survey, but a survey using mobile, so people were quite used to the system, and we ensured that at the beginning of the survey, you can show the phone, explain how it works, and make people feel at ease, and we had paper backups at all times, so if anybody wasn't, you could revert to paper immediately. We are more and more working with Oxfam affiliates, and that's just going to increase. So we work a lot with Oxfam America. They have a tech for development team. And they're coming to the conference in Nairobi with us, so we're setting up meetings. We also work with Oxfam Australia, NOVA, Intimon. And so we are actually creating an affiliate-wide SIMS page where we can share all the project information. There'll be this map that I said, the toolkit, data collection toolkit is on there in various languages, and we're looking at an SMS toolkit as well to be able to publish. And what we also look at is proposals. So people will come to us, and there are a lot of funding opportunities for this kind of work, particularly in humanitarian, but widespread. There's a lot of funds that are really looking at ICTs. So when these come up, or people have an idea and are looking for a specific fund to apply for, our team will help them in terms of helping them write out the ICT side and scoping out the requirements needed, the budget, and all of that. So that's one way in which